Sometimes it's not the anxiety, but the physical sensations. I get that. Most of the time, it's not the anxiety, the kind that is like a stale movie clip that runs rent free in your head. But I abhor the physical sensations that come with it. I hate it, especially its suddenness, out of nowhere character. Who wants an unannounced visitor or team meeting anyway? That starting racing heart, the frequent headache, the sudden pulsing in the head, the ongoing upset stomach, the on and off twitching on one corner of the eye, the out of nowhere restlessness of the legs, the surprising hot burning sensation on one leg, and I could go on and on. But when you think about it and stop for a moment, anxiety cannot come without physical sensations or symptoms. Isn't it anxiety a sensation in itself or a feeling? After all, the mind and body are connected. They are just one and the same. Mind and body connection and the vicious loop. Or we can call it just what it is, a loop. As a registered nurse who studied anatomy and physiology, which later evolved into pathophysiology, I did not initially view the mind body as a sophisticated system, one with its own wisdom and intelligence. What I saw instead was that it is something that has function, then malfunctions, and just wears and tears along the way. Suppose there is an acute event like a fracture, a heart attack, or something similar. In that case, the body's intel is activated, communicating with each other with the brain as the hub, prioritizing, filtering, analyzing, and carrying out actions simultaneously, even better than 911. Then the body, getting commands from the brain, acts as it's designed to, produce signs and symptoms, whether physical or behavioral as part of its extensive communication network. This is a message, an information. This is picked up by the person's senses and are something that can be observed outside the person's body. Thus, the person's attention is captured and gets an invitation to look further. Soon they can ask for help as necessary. Or in certain situations, the signs and symptoms themselves can draw help or attention from the others, whether shouting, hyperventilating, blood rushing from a body part, display of unusual behavior, etc. This is our body's wisdom. Our mind and body are always in our favor. There could be no other reason. And you may ask, okay, I got that. But that's something physiological. Now, here's my anxiety and panic that takes place in my mind, and that is not my brain. The feeling of anxiety, all right, I can take that. But why does it have to have these debilitating physical symptoms that I have been going on and on and on? The vicious loop. It is for a simple understanding as above. The mind and body are connected, inseparable, and interlinked always. There's no mystery here. It may look like something vicious, but as we have more thinking, the symptoms and sensations gets more heightened. It has entered the special effects department innocently. What may appear as a spark can transform into lightning or wildfire under a magnifying glass or a movie frame. Thinking a racing heart into a heart attack or a headache into a tumor, or the all or nothing dialogue of perfectionist overthinkers. Quote, I have 24/7 anxiety and panic. There's no rest at all. End of quote. But it's just a loop, an inherent design in our system. Have you ever watched a movie, a series on your television, or inside the cinema houses? Without the frame, the lighting, and sound effects, it's just a boy and a girl across from each other. The boy gave something to the girl, end of story. But with a special framing attached to it, we could create a million stories with this event based on the filters we are wearing at the moment. Neutral thoughts, then meaning making, then anxiety or panic, then symptoms, then anxiety or panic, then symptoms. Can you see that? They are feeding off each other. And now what? Since we are always feeling or thinking 100% of the time, and that's how we are designed to actually experience life, then this feedback mechanism, this loop is here to stay. However, this is not a bad news. In fact, it is a good one. Seeing this for what it is, an innate design, health, and wisdom, we could have less thinking about it, like using a magnifying glass that creates special effects, or the framing that casts a skewed light. Thus, a story that we created ourselves is born, albeit not always true, necessary. Maybe we or you can ask yourself, can I have the experience without the story? How then does that feel like? Feelings, hunger, thirst, warmth, anxious, upset, furious, panic, etc. can not go without the thought with a capital T. This formless energy that can take in different forms. Thought as a spiritual energy can come as thoughts, images, sounds, sensations, and maybe a lot more. We cannot experience any kind of experience unless we are thinking about it or we have thoughts about it that rise into consciousness. This is one of the three principles in action, the universal consciousness. Your stomach may have gurgling sounds as much as it likes for how long it wants. Unless you have thoughts about it, it rises then into your consciousness or awareness. Interpret that as I am hungry. You will never have the experience of hunger in that moment. The physical symptoms and sensations that come with anxiety and panic can be truly bothersome. But have yourself check with your primary care doctor to assess whether this warrants further medical attention. For something chronic like anxiety, pain, there's a huge chance that we are perpetuating the symptoms and sensations because of our thinking about it. Then there's the experience of anxiety or pain. Then there's our thinking about it. There's our memory about it. There's our story about it. When is it going to end? How long do I have to wait? Is it still there? Will it show up later? What does this sensation means? Does it mean I have? Why is this pain and sensation are with me almost 27 or 24/7 of the time? Will you just have to accept that this is going to be the rest of your life? Or this is just how it is? For me, while acceptance, letting go, or surrender are beautiful things you can do. But for the most part, you almost always have the question of, how do I do that? Or, I am doing that, but why it's not working? The short answer to that is because it's still more working, more doing, and more thinking. That puts the brain into fixing mode, therefore it reads the room as danger. Could you or we actually stop thinking? No. How about go in the direction of better thinking? It's still more thinking. Remember the pendulum? You don't have to do anything or think your way out to get into the center of your mental well-being and innate health. You don't actually have a choice. Whether you like it or not, you will go back to the center. That is how we are designed. Less thinking is a natural byproduct of understanding and seeing this truth. Getting to simple. Now, finally, after trying many things and figuring out what to do to get rid of the physical sensations, and nothing has worked. Or maybe some have worked, but if you're being honest to yourself, they did not really. then maybe you can choose to simplify instead. When you are in the quietest of your mind or in the zone of, let's say, cooking, gardening, building trains, doing your makeup, then you catch yourself not feeling any pain, symptoms, or sensations, as if you forgot to feel those. And then when you remember, you feel them again. What does that even mean? That those possibilities, or two possibilities, having symptoms, sensation, pain, or lack of it, or lesser of those, can exist in the same or on the same timeline. So, which is really true? With love and light, Nico. See you next episode. Have a good one.